Moving on underneath our huge, gorgeous, and beloved American red plum tree, let's go beyond the greenhouse to the front yard, which is the part of the farm that I call plant paradise. Here we have a few currant bushes, some of which are starting to ripen. You can see the reddish pink berries going on here. We're going to do something with those berries this year, by God. We've let them go a couple years in a row, but we're going to make some jam or do something with them. That's a pawpaw tree, native fruit to Ohio. Geeks that are into local Ohio plants will know and love that plant. And this is our front yard. Right, so basic idea of this front yard is to make it beautiful and productive at the same time. The backyard is a little bit more about productivity, although as you saw, first of all, I think these plants are beautiful of themselves. But second of all, we also can't resist adding a little bit of pure aesthetics into stuff back there either. Right, so lining most of these beds are onions. There's also shallots over on the other side of this bed. Over there. Okay. There are fruit trees. Almost every one of these trees is a fruit tree that you see in this angle. There's also an apple tree behind me. Okay. This bed's gonna have greens. Almost all these beds have greens. This has tomatillos, a couple in the middle. And every one of these beds that has a stake in it, just like the backyard, has a tomato plant at the base. And I grow those tomatoes in the middle of the bed, and then just grow greens all along the base. And I think it is beautiful, and it is also productive. Right? Along the edge of some of the other beds is not onions, but in fact pepper plants. So you can see peppers lining the edge of this bed, lining the edge of that bed right over there, and you'll see some more as I walk around. In the middle of this bed is some more tomatoes, but these are Romas and they don't climb vertically because they're a determinate variety of tomato. So I can explain in another video or you can look it up. Indeterminate tomatoes can grow up stakes and determinate ones don't. But we grow them the same way, right? Got lots of quick growing greens that I can harvest regularly for market around them, and have them in the center and some edging to the bed. I really like this. This is the first year we've done that kind of design that I kind of came up with on the fly, and I really love it. A lot of the stuff growing on the outside along these paths are flowers in various stages of bloom or growth. So we just go out here real quick. You can see the taller ones are sunflowers there along the edge of that path. I'll just go a little closer. Sunflowers, right, developing, angling toward the morning sun. Some basil, there's some snapdragons happening here, they're gorgeous. Right, there's lilies coming up, some, what is that called? Nicotania coming up. Right, these are asters, I'm really excited about those coming up this year. Lupines, dahlias. Right, most of these are not blooming yet, but some of them are. Right, these flax, we didn't seed those this year. Those are actually left over from last year, blue flax. And this flower, one of my favorites, is called Nigella. Let's see if we can get a sunlight speckled one. Yeah, right here. That is Nigella, one of my favorite flowers. Right, but most of them are, these are self-seeded. This giant patch self-seeded from last year. The seeds just got shed by last year's Nigella and it grew into a giant patch this year, and we couldn't be more happy with that. We've got some Asiatic lilies coming up here, getting ready to bloom. Those also came back from last year, much to our delight. We've got some herbs mixed in over here too. So you can see basil, green, red basil, some dill here. We got zucchini, lovely looking zucchinis down here. I'm really happy with the way that those are turning out. So you can see we're really integrating flowers, vegetables, herbs kind of in the same space, because why not? Like, why not make it beautiful and grow food at the same time? And in your front yard. It just doesn't have to be a bunch of grass. You can grow food and make it beautiful and interesting, dynamic too. Biodiverse as well. Makes your soil more healthy, makes the ecosystem more healthy. These are bachelor's buttons, self-seeded from last year again, and some more dahlias and stuff coming up this year. This little bed has arugula that I just seeded a few days ago that's coming up, and some onions lining one side and sunflowers lining the other side. And in fact, this whole side of the property is sunflowers. While I'm here, you may notice those giant mesh looking, fence looking things. Those are in fact fences, but we're not using them as fences. In fact, they're called handy panels, which are like short cattle panels, and we took them. They're usually gray. They're usually used for cattle herding or whatever, containing cattle. But we painted them because we like bright colors, as anyone who's seen our greenhouse would know. And we use them to line our paths, right? And create this kind of little pathways. But that's, you're not always gonna be able to see those colors, because in fact we've planted things specifically to grow up them, right? The shorter one, right here, the fences I have right here are 4 feet tall, are cucumbers. Here's one variety of cucumber on this side. There's another variety of cucumber on this side. That one's doing really well. And in fact, we've got little baby cucumbers coming up over here. Little baby cucumber. And those will cover these fences by, I'd say, another month. The taller fences here, these are 8 feet tall, right? Those don't have cucumbers at the base, but they have a relative, a cousin of the cucumbers, and that's called squash. These are winter squashes. Over on the right hand side is spaghetti squash. Just 2 plants. Look, these 2 plants, I kid you not, they don't look very big right now, but by another month and a half, they will absolutely cover this whole thing. So that's why we have those here, and it'll be kind of cool. I hope, this is the first time we're doing it this year, but I hope we'll have enough space to walk between these fences with all those big squash leaves coming up. The other squash over here is a sweet pumpkin, so a small pie kind of style pumpkin. So we've got a few different things, and it's amazing. It's often amazing how much you can get out of small amount of plants. Like we've got maybe 12 or 15 tomato plants in this front yard. Don't take much space because we grow most of them vertically, but it's way more than we can use. And we can tomatoes, and we still don't use all of the tomatoes that we grow. So you can grow so much on a small space and make it look dynamic and beautiful, right? You can make your yard productive and beautiful, and integrate aesthetics and environmental, like biodiversity, all into the same space. If you just practice a little bit and get comfortable and experiment. And not everything we try works, but hey, if you don't try some stuff out, then you won't learn what works. So that's basically the state of the yard and farm in a nutshell. If you watch this video, shortly after the video that I made on my previous tour of the farm, which I believe was at the beginning of May or the end of April, you'll see quite a difference. It's amazing what a difference a month makes. And I'm sure there'll be a big difference between now and the next tour video I make in hopefully another month's time. So I'm gonna sign out for now and start doing some other stuff on the farm, but I appreciate you joining me. And if you like this video, if you're interested in this, then you can subscribe to the channel or just like the video. That'll help other people see it. And another thing that'd be really helpful for me right now is if you just share this video with some people that you know that might be interested, especially if they're in the Columbus area, because I would love to get the word out on creative repurposing your yard. And also I'd like to sell some vegetables to people, and that would sharing this video would help me let people know that I'm out here. So thanks for joining for this time. I look forward to seeing you again. Until then, Salako, I'm out.